taking their time right behind my back. And I'm talking to myself at night because I can't forget. Back and forth through my mind behind a cigarette. And a message coming from my eyes says leave it alone. Every single one's got a story to tell. Everyone knows about it, from the Queen of England to the Hounds of Hell. And if I catch it coming back my way, I'm gonna serve it to you. And that ain't what you wanna hear, but that's what I'll do. And the feeling coming from my bones says find a home. Don't wanna hear about it. Every single one's got a story to tell. Everyone knows about it, from the Queen of England to the Hounds of Hell. And if I catch it coming back my way, I'm gonna serve it to you. And that ain't what you wanna hear, but that's what I'll do. And the feeling coming from my bones says find a home. See rock shows near Tampa, get tickets as low as 61. You might also like think of it, KSI, Family Matters, Drake, my boy only breaks his favorite toys, Taylor Swift. Wichita, far from this opera forevermore. I'm gonna work the straw, make the sweat drip out of every pore. And I'm bleeding and I'm bleeding and I'm bleeding right before the Lord. All the words are gonna bleed from me and I will think no more. And the stains coming from my blood tell me go back home. singing. Oh, be my mirror, my sword and shield, the missionaries in a foreign field. For some reason I can't explain, I know St. Peter will call my name. Never an honest word, but that was when I ruled the world. It's 9 o'clock on a Saturday. The regular crowd shuffles in. There's an old man sitting next to me, making love to his tonic and you're such an inspiration for the ways that I will never ever choose to be. Oh, so many ways for me to show you how your Savior has abandoned you. Fuck your God, your Lord, and your Christ. He did this, took all you had and left you this way. Still you pray, you never stray, never taste of the fruit, never thought to question why. It's not like you killed someone. It's not like you drove a hateful spear into his side. Praise the one who left you broken down and paralyzed. He did it all for you. He did it all for you. Oh, so many ways for me to show you how your dogma has abandoned you. Pray to your Christ, to your God. Never taste of the fruit. You never stray, you never break, never choke on a lie. Even though he's the one who did this to you, never thought to question why. It's not like you killed someone. It's not like you drove a hateful spear into his side. Praise the one who left you broken down and paralyzed. Even though he did it all for you. He did it all for you. Oh, so many ways for me to show you how your dogma has abandoned you. Pray to your Christ, to your God. Never taste of the fruit. You never stray, you never break, never choke on a lie. Even though he's the one who did this to you, never thought to question why. It's not like you killed someone. It's not like you drove a spiteful spear into his side. Talk to Jesus Christ as if he knows the reasons why. He did it all for
Welcome, my friends, to XboxEra. If you're new here, let me fill you in. XboxEra is a platform for the Xbox community with best-in-class forums, a kick-ass Discord server, and of course, XboxEra.com, your destination for the best news, reviews, and features, all focused on your favourite platform, Xbox. It's every Xbox fan's gateway to the best of XboxEra. Our incredible podcasts listened to in over 50 countries worldwide, our in-depth reviews, our own merch store for the coolest in gaming threads, and of course Day One, where you can track, rate and discuss your favourite games on Xbox Game Pass. We're a small, agile and independent publication, and importantly, we're completely funded by you. If you value having a publication truly focused on your preferred place to play, you can become one of the cool kids by supporting us directly via Patreon. Just head to patreon.com/XboxEra. You get cool swag and awesome perks, and we get to keep doing what we do. Become a part of the best Xbox community on the internet and help us grow even larger. Thank you for your support. XboxEra is only made possible by the support of an amazing community, and in particular our legendary and growing army of Patreon supporters. Our executive producers, Top, The Scarecrow 121, Peter B, Not Jack, Mohammed Sherez, Kevin S, Korkenstein, Jordan White, Jordan Andow, Frankie C, Terran H, and Britt. Our amazingly generous grand benefactors who take their support and dedication to XboxEra to another level. Krat56, an assassin. And then there's our boss, our leader, our shining light in times of darkness, the one and only XboxEra CEO, Torn Raptor. You guys are all fucking awesome. If you enjoy the content XboxEra produce and want more of it, and you're not a patron, consider heading over to patreon.com/XboxEra, pledge your support, and get cool swag in return. Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of XboxEra Headlines. In fact, it's our 100th episode because today marks 1 year since we started the show, following me going full-time with the team of Jesse. Today, the date is February 27th, 2025, and today, Jesse and I will be talking you through all of the latest that we can think that's relevant, really, in gaming news from across the industry. As a bonus for our wonderful patrons, we do make audio versions of these episodes available for them to listen to in Patreon for use in their preferred podcast app. But if you're on Spotify, you can link your account and listen to it there instead. If you'd like to become a legendary Patreon member for XboxEra, you can consider supporting us directly by heading to patreon.com/XboxEra. Hello, everybody in the chat. And hello, Jesse. How are you?
I'm doing very well. You broke up a lot. Yeah. Your audio came through, but your video keeps freezing. And I'm looking at the. Yeah, I'm looking. Well, it's just you're like.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Audio's fine. It's probably StreamYard, but I don't know.
I don't know. I have. I still have DaVinci open because I've been editing.
Yeah, it's
a little review.
Yeah, you're on like shit.
Yeah. Okay. Well, maybe that will fix it. I've shut it down now. Turned it off. All right. Resource hog that these applications are. 100 episodes, mate, of headlines, of keeping people informed with succinct hour-long news-focused broadcasts on a Tuesday and a Thursday. That's pretty good times, isn't it?
It's not bad. I won't complain.
Bad.
It's been fun to do, to actually get to talk about the news, because Nick never has any interest in it, which is why the news segment, which is the main thing people come to the podcast for, no matter what he wants to think, he always makes it short because he doesn't care.
He just wants to console war, doesn't he?
But yeah, if you go and you look now at our little playlist section, for some reason, OBS keeps turning off display captures on me. If you go to our, there it is, 100 episodes of headlines in our little playlist. Also, if you ever want to know, how can I help XboxEra without spending a penny? Go to one of these playlists if you have YouTube Premium and just play it all the time. Yeah, if you let those VODs play in the background, you can set it at 144p and mute it. If you let it do that, the money that comes in is way more than anyone who watches every ad and clicks into them. It's crazy how much they pay.
Also, another fun thing that you can do to support XboxEra is go to your browser on your telephone or on your PC and set your natural, as soon as I open a new tab, homepage to xboxera.com, because the more people that view that page, the greater life is. And super chat from CJ Ad 93. Happy episode 100, gents. Where's the real star Boots? Here she is. I'm not going to move the camera. I'm going to see if she can come up and say hello. Come here.
Yeah, what a hello.
You don't like it, do you?
Wow.
She really doesn't like being picked up. She likes being stroked and she'll get on your lap, but don't pick her up. She'll get a bit hissy fit.
Well, you know what's funny, John? We started exactly the 27th of February 2024. Exact same day. Funny
That's
how that
amazing,
happens.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing? 100
Pretty much the same
episodes.
layout, except for I made the going live look better. This is pretty boring. I chopped off the XboxEra, made the headlines white and bigger. Yeah.
It feels good. It feels good. And I'm glad that folks enjoy it. Like, you know, we
Palatro
get
is
a
life.
regular. I agree with Palatro.
Oh, PlayStation laying off 900 employees was still down there. Oh boy. Yeah, that was a rough.
Was that the first episode?
The first episode was PlayStation doing a ton of layoffs. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, and our Kickstarter second print, which did not
succeed. Didn't succeed.
Nope. We talked about it for a while too.
Bad. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. But yeah,
ooh, all digital White Series X rumored for June.
Very pleased to be able to do this for a whole year, and here's to another year. Hopefully, it's a bit ropey right now. So you know, like I mean it. If you love what we do and you love having this show, head to patreon.com/XboxEra. You can support us directly, and we can keep on rocking.
And if money's tight, which it's going to be, because boy, our economy is probably going to go in there. Seriously, if you have YouTube Premium, just leave a playlist playing whenever you can. It is crazy how much more YouTube will pay for YouTube Premium, and you don't have to do anything. You just let it play, and the playlist means it keeps playing through us. So it's nice.
There you go. Good times. Anyway, let's dive into some video game news, shall we? Before we do that, though, I just wanted to give a quick shout out because we've had a couple of things go live on XboxEra.com. Tomb Raider 4 to 6 remastered review is live from Fairy Empire. You can go read that on XboxEra.com at the moment, as well as a review of Ultros, which is a psychedelic Metroidvania, which came out on PC last year, but it's out on Xbox now, and Fairy's reviewed both of those. So if you want to go and check out whether you think you should pick those games up, you can go and have a read for yourself, and jump in and have a ganders. Have at it.
Another super chat.
Outside of that, housekeeping, be sure to hit that like button if you're watching right now, be it on phone or on your desktop. It does help us out. We got a super chat from Dell1994, who says, why are some respectable YouTubers like Mr. Matty pretending that Avowed was some sort of failure? They're trying to compare the sales comment to Hi-Fi Rush.
Engagement.
I can't speak to the reasons why someone would or would not do something in this platform, but I tell you what I will do. I will reference a conversation that I was a participant in on LinkedIn, of all things. Don't blame me. I'm only there because I have to be. But there was a post from someone that was talking about how frustrating it is as an indie dev to effectively reach out and try and get coverage for a game.
It was the guy from the Surgeon Simulator studio. He wrote it in a really shitty way, and everyone's dunking on him very hard.
Yeah, well, some people were dunking on him, some weren't. But basically, he was like, "Hey, sorry," you know, he was jokingly like he was in a conversation. I was like, "Hey, you know, the website replies, no, we're too busy covering Call of Duty, Monster Hunter, Civ, and Pokemon." And then the devs end up going through tough times, shutting down their studios, and only then will the gaming site write about them and do like a nice extensive piece because it's bad news and people like reading bad news. And I understand the sentiment in that this industry is completely broken. So the games industry is one thing that is broken, and I'm really am trying to get my thoughts together to write like a why is the industry broken and what can be done to fix it kind of piece, but that's for another day. But the games media side of the industry is broken as well, because the only way that games media websites get any money is through guides and covering big games. So
and rumors
games don't get a look in, and rumors, right? So it's all useless fluff.
Right? Yeah, like a single rumor about a Tomb Raider thing on Amazon got more hits than like 30 or 40 reviews combined.
Yeah. But then Jason Schreier actually replied in this thread, and I think some other places have picked up on it, but he said, and I'm going to read it out because it's publicly available. I empathize, but there are maybe 24 people with full-time jobs in the video game press right now, and they're all overworked and underpaid. Hallelujah, Jesse, am I right? Most of their traffic comes from guides, SEO, and aggregating news first, so it gets traction on Reddit. Very little of that traffic leads to revenue because the advertisement business has been destroyed by Google and Facebook. Also true. Still, we need to chase traffic because otherwise we don't have jobs. Despite that, sites like IGN and Polygon are still frequently promoting cool indie games, even if it's not at the rate you prefer. Blaming the media for the industry's woes is easy but misguided. I'm one of the few people fortunate enough to have a large platform, and I try to use it to boost indie games that I fall in love with. But there are too many games released every week and not enough time to play them all. Those few journalists remaining are just trying to hold on to their jobs in an industry that is far more precarious than video gaming, where things are rough right now, but money is still coming in. Recruiters don't even exist in media because there are no jobs to recruit for. I wouldn't be shocked if we see even more gaming outlets disappear in 2025. Neither would I. I fully expect to see some big sites close this year because I'm not joking. It is horrible out there. Now, it's not so horrible for us in some ways because we're not trying to be the richest, biggest, always seeking growth company. We want to be able to earn enough to keep doing what we do and do it fucking well, like we always have done. And that's it. We don't want to change the world. We don't want to turn into an IPO. We just want to be here with our community playing video games and talking about them. That's the goal. That's the end game. So that's why you'll see people lean into stuff. Why? Money. That's it. End of the day. I can't say anything more than that. I can't speak to an individual's motives. That was a long tangent to get that bit out of the way, but I thought it was a relevant and interesting topic of discussion.
Our CEO wants bigger profits. Sorry, John, we got to change course.
Oh, shit. He's such a slave driver. Anyways, there you go, Del. Hopefully that helps. But for my money, I am on the 4th area in Avowed now. It's the end game now. I was not happy with either of the choices I had to make. I wasn't happy.
There was an article on Aftermath about, and it was like, it's a clickbaity headline. It's like all the choices in Avowed are terrible, and you're like, oh, what? And they're literally saying they like that there isn't a good choice that works well and a bad choice that doesn't work well. There's not that, good,
an easy choice and I want to be evil choice. They're both just shitty choices in this one section.
Unless you really do want to go full evil, and then it is. You can romance the evil lady, by the way.
Oh,
you go full evil. But thank you to BT Maverick for gifting 5 YouTube memberships. For Nick Day, Dr. Chad Thundercock, Kendrick Starr, John Bon Zombie, and Joshua Kraft. Joshua Kraft is one of the Kraft sons from the people who won the Patriots.
Hang on a second.
See, you like Chad.
What was the second username?
I know you like that one, but I like John Bon Zombie just as much.
I mean, that's good, but you can't beat Dr. Chad Thundercock. I mean, holy shit. Please stick around, Dr. Chad Thundercock.
There's a doctor, there's a captain, Captain Redbeard 72. Yeah.
Wow.
And a celebrity.
Trav, it doesn't matter
zombie.
if you save scum, mate. You're going to make one of these choices and it'll be a choice, and that's the choice you're going to live with, bro. Enjoy.
Everything can't go great.
Yeah, basically. But thank you, BT Maverick. That was very kind of you. So yes, there you go. Some minor stuff. Let's talk about some news. Fable has been delayed to 2026. That's probably the big topic for an Xbox.
I put 3. Oops. Typo.
Channel.
It got delayed
Fable
2 years
3.
in the past. No, I put 2023. Okay. I mistyped. People, yeah. But to lighten the blow, during an interview with Craig Duncan, we'll talk about in a bit, they showed off some new footage, which we posted, and boy, did it attract the chuds.
Mate, I did that on the fly, and I'm sorry, IGN didn't even bother to use Fable music, and they're doing better than that. Come on, IGN. And they beat me by a minute and a half.
Well, with the bigger companies, they're probably always a little wary of using other companies' music, even though you're using all the video. So I don't think it really matters.
It really doesn't.
But yeah, it looks really pretty. It's very good looking. They've got work to do on the animations and stuff and that type. But also, Jez described this exact footage in November on the Xbox 2 podcast. So this is not new.
No.
So that's also a thing. But also, you get a horse. The horse looks amazing. No balls on the horse though, so it's not Red Dead.
Lady horse might be a lady horse.
I don't really get to ride them. giant rooster fight, like good melee, a little bit of magic on the Balverine, ridiculously good looking sausages. Like, yeah, I'm excited. I'm very sad it's delayed. I'm not shocked. New, and people got mad at me when I said new studio. It's a new team at a studio that had only ever made racing games before. So moving into a new genre, building up a new team, because I saw people like, oh, they've been going since 2018. It was like, they pitched it in 2018 and they started building a team and have probably really been working on it for like, I don't know, 4, maybe 5 years, which is pretty average for AAA. Like it's a whole new thing to try and learn. Also, people yelling about pre-alpha. It's like, it's old. This is old footage.
Yeah, and look, pre-alpha is also probably, let's be fair, let's call it what it is. It's also a great way to say, if anyone comes at this footage and goes, well, it doesn't look very good, it says pre-alpha on it right there, buddy. You know, like this is early footage.
And what does it mean?
They put that there to cover
It changes for every dev. What that would mean. Yeah. What does pre-alpha mean?
Yeah.
Don't know.
Yeah.
It's different for everyone.
But I mean, I think it looks great. It sucks that it's a year out, but in a year where there's so many games coming out, I'd rather, like, I saw Gembox 360 on Twitter. She tweeted, you know, hey, Avowed being delayed out the year meant we got a 60 FPS mode at launch. I'll wait. You know, and I'm like, fair enough.
It'll suck for now. And for people who aren't, who don't play a ton of stuff, maybe they play 4 or 5 things a year, and this was like one of the big ones for them, it's going to hurt a lot more.
Yes.
Because I know in my position, I'm going to play like 80 things this year, and this was going to be one of the main ones I was looking forward to. But when there's already, just from 2K, Mafia of the Old Country, Borderlands 3, and seemingly more and more GTA 6 in the second half. And then Microsoft already has Call of Duty and The Outer Worlds and Ninja Gaiden 4. Because it's really funny. I saw someone on the, I think it was a Gaming Leaks and Rumors subreddit say, oh, they're going to have to announce some stuff for the fall. It's empty right now. It's like, no, it's not. They've already got Ninja Gaiden 4. You know they're going to have a Call of Duty, and they have The Outer Worlds 2. I think for most publishers, having 3 games like that would be great. But for other people, it's like, no, they need more. Like, there's more than enough games to make up for it, but it's still okay to be very sad that it has been delayed. And I do think you see the extremes, and I had to fight it in the Discord a bit, where some people are like, it's a brilliant move. And it's like, no, it's not. Don't give it a date.
Yeah.
It's not brilliant to miss.
I completely empathize with people really in their feels about, oh, this kind of sucks. I was really looking forward to it. But hey, it will mean it's a better game when you do get to play it. So, like, it's okay. I'm very optimistic. I don't think Playground have ever made a bad game. And yes, to your point, this is a new studio, a new team making a new thing, and they're bringing back a classic. Like, and I've seen all the conversation. I've seen all the horrible chuds. Oh, it's a woman.
You've missed a lot of them because so many of them were just straight up slurs.
I see them, but
they never
usually blocks them before.
No, there were so many that were straight up slurs that go into the hidden comments you have to approve. There's like 100 in there that I had to just yeet it into the sun. It's like, also, if you look at the model that they modeled this character after in real life, beautiful woman, looks exactly like the in-game character, except the in-game character is dirty or pulling faces, not made up. Like, people are so used to the makeup look. Like, you look at Wu Chang, Fallen Feathers, and all the time you're fighting, you've got perfect makeup on. Like, you look more doll-like than human. Some people like that. That's fine. It can be a cultural thing.
I've seen a lot of conversation and questions around, well, okay, this is a modern day retake on Fable. Am I going to be able to create my own character? Because, like, I completely get that
and Jez has said there's there's masculine and feminine, male and female. Like, those are the 2 things they've just only shown.
What I want to make clear is, if we're talking a reboot of Fable, traditionally you didn't make your own character. You were playing a character that was either male or female, and your actions dictated how you would appear. Through your own morality, right? So if that's the female, then we'll get a male. I'd be fine with that. I would love for Playground to give us the ability to create whatever character we want, and then see that transformation take place through my choices in terms of how I look. Like evil me versus good me.
Like in the game, you choose, I'm running my own business, and you just start looking more and more haggard over time as the stress gets to you.
Yeah, that's kind of
to match
real life. I don't want to emulate real life. I play games to get out of real life. But, like, yeah. Brendan Martin in the chat says, I think Fable will be released February 2026. I do not. I still think that they'll give this one. I think they'll give this one.
They have so much next year that I will not hazard a guess on when any of it comes out. Because technically, there's like there could have like 8 big things that have been announced, with a few of them. Like people don't even bring up Clockwork Revolution. Like that was shown 2 years ago, and isn't shown this year.
Those guys are cooking.
Yeah. So like, if you go through and you look, there's Everwild, which Phil brought up. There's still Contraband, which as they have talked repeatedly at Avalanche about working on it. So Everwild, Contraband, Fable, Perfect Dark, State of Decay 3, Clockwork Revolution, and I'm sure I'm missing something. Like it keeps going on. Gears E-Day, a potential Forza, because I know some people are like, oh no, they're all in this. It's like, well, no, they made a second team for this. The other team might be helping because it's their engine and they're trying to fix it all up and that type of stuff. But they have so much. And then there's things like the story later about Tony Hawk. There's just more and more things coming that we don't even know about yet. Because as Craig Duncan said in that interview that this was a part of, they've got plenty more they haven't announced. Like he just outright said it.
There are the Xbox studios are finally like really cooking. They've got so many things in the fire.
I would say anyone who's about this footage, it'll probably be 2 years old by the time the game comes out, roughly. So it's not going to look anything like the final product. That's just the way it always ends up going with those. It hasn't gone into the actual, like, think of what Avowed's combat looked like before they had the time to go through and tighten it up and give it the weight and the flash. Like, that's normally the last things to happen are the any optimizations like that.
Yeah. And yeah, I'm liking the conversation in the chat right now.
Double Fine
still working on something,
which Phil talked about.
You know, people talking about how, like, hey, cold start, Microsoft has to start thinking about launch titles for the next Xbox. I completely agree, right? If you think about what 2026 or 2027 looks like, we know that there's a Halo, Unreal, be it a reboot or a remake,
projects in the work, whatever they end up being.
There's a project of some sort. There's lots of things being discussed. And if you're launching a new type of console and a new handheld version of that console, could you hit the trifecta of Halo, Gears, Forza, and Fable? Trifecta? What do you call it? What's the fourth version of
quad?
That? I need a fourth. A quadfecta? Is that a word? I don't know.
The quadrilogy. No,
I'm not too fussed that Fable's missing this year. Like, I have got so much to play. Although that and Replaced both going to 2026 does stings a little.
You're going to be so busy this year, though, that maybe next year would be better for you to play more.
That's true. This year's going to be insane for many reasons, which I can't go into.
And also, if you get Fable. Indiana Jones DLC, Starfield DLC, and Diablo 4 DLCs in 2026, like, they just have a lot of shit coming out. It's really hard to keep up with.
Yeah, you mentioned the Craig Duncan interview with the official Xbox podcast. Was cool to see a Brit like leading all the studios now, head of Xbox Game Studios.
I wonder how they were able to get him on that show.
Yeah,
they must have some connections.
I'm curious. Will he be at GDC? I'd love to say hello. I have met him briefly once in LA when I was there last year, but not long enough to have a chat. Really, beyond a brief introduction.
I love Sea of Thieves. Bye.
Well, thank you very much for this, great guys. Bye.
Pirates of the Caribbean this week. Bye.
Honestly, it makes me cringe a little inside. Like, I get that we're all human beings and we have our
Sam Lake. Oh, I love you.
Be.
Yeah, I've heard the stories.
Seeing people that effectively are there to do a job, like if I'm there to cover things, I am at work, fawning over other people.
I will say,
in video games is weird to me. Like, I don't know, maybe it's just me.
There are, and people will be like, "Oh, you're just setting it up to do." Is like companies will set up Discord servers when they have multiplayer games so that you can work together to be able to play the game in multiplayer. Monster Hunter Wilds had one, and my God, some of the, especially creators, not so much press, but creators, when they are in those, just talk like they're on a forum, and I'm like, this is supposed to be a professional space. You should be talking professionally and not like giddy, fanboy, crazy, cringiness type stuff. It's not often, and it's generally the more streamer creator types than I've ever seen from press, but still, it always gets me.
Brendan Martin in the chat, YouTube member, says, as a person who works on video games, Fable's pre-alpha footage was stunning, and the final product is going to be really impressive. I respect the delay.
It's very pretty pre-alpha compared to other pre-alphas I've seen when doing previews and stuff and whatnot.
Yeah, 100%.
People like pretty.
Craig Duncan did mention some other tidbits in the official Xbox podcast. It's worth going to give it a listen if you're a fan. There was a brief chat about multiplayer.
Yeah, like multi-platform stuff.
Multi-platform is what I meant. And it's nice to see the same thing that we've kind of alluded to on this show be mentioned by the head of Xbox Studios in that, and I've said this before, and I will say it again, if I'm on the lookout for talent to come and work at my studios, all people that make games want their games to be played by as many people as humanly possible. And it must suck trying to recruit for a job where your game, you're on the third-party platform and your game will probably be played by the least amount of people. So it is probably more attractive now to hire the best talent to kind of be like, yeah, well, we'll just put it everywhere. And then boom, you've got as much chance of a success as we can possibly give you. And it's nice to kind of hear that from the head of Xbox. I don't think it answers to any of the concerns or questions that the community continues to have around the multi-platform push, but I certainly think it's a valid thing to bring up, but only from a professional viewpoint and not from a pure consumer viewpoint, if that makes any sense. I would still love to sit down with someone like Sarah Bond. I am going to see if she's at GDC. I will try my bestest to work with Xbox PR and see if, hey, can we just sit down and have a chat? And I'll go get those hard-hitting I won't really. I will just ask genuine questions and hope for genuine conversation. But we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, you also mentioned it during that kind of discussion about what Xbox are coming. One of the other things that kind of leaked and is just out there now in the wild this week, but was being teased by Activision, is a return of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. It now seems that 3 and 4 has been rated by the Singapore rating board, which is kind of like, well, the cat's out of the bag. We know what it is.
And Nick's all happy because he talked about it last year.
Yeah, just another bunch of sticky spaghetti stuck at the wall.
Super chat
scores again. Super chat from Deadly Headley says, "Congrats on 100 episodes of Headlines, dudes." Thank you very much, Mr. Headley.
And Tony Hawk, I remember Tony Hawk 3 being like my favorite one. It's been a long time since I've played them. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 is a really good HD remaster. So they take the old games, they put a bunch of new nice graphics on top of them, because when you go back to the old ones, they still kind of look like this unless you're emulating them or something. But they hold up. I imagine they're going to have all new music licenses like they did before, because you're not just going to be able to go right back and get everything that was in them. It does make them hard to stream because they're really boring without the music to watch. Like, it's still incredibly fun to play no matter what, but the music really adds quite a bit. They've been teasing it a lot. They've got their 03, 04, 25 with an amalgam of the 3 and 4 silhouettes or poses, like above it. And then Tony Hawk's been really pushing it, and they started advertising on sides of buses already with a loading new skate parks loading bar. Ooh. And he got a bunch of the old guys back together, and they do look very old because it's, been 30 years, almost 30. Yeah, been 30 years,
isn't it?
Yeah.
Look.
Yeah, and also I think his son married Kurt Cobain's daughter.
Oh,
yeah.
Small world.
I'm looking quite forward to it. I played most of them. I did not play that much of the Thug ones, the Underground, but the original 4 I played a ton of. Also, March 4th at 10 a.m. Eastern is when the countdown timer ends. That is 1 hour after the normal time that we get Game Pass. Game Pass drop. So hopefully, as we get to this amazing super chat in a second, hopefully this Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4 announcement is paired with adding 1 and 2 to Game Pass finally, because it does have a PC version on the Microsoft Store. But we got a super chat.
Yeah. We do, from our CEO and absolute legend, Torn Raptor, who says, John, please say you plan to get some interviews done at GDC for the channel. What better place to do it? Yeah, I can't say much yet, but there are definitely some things at GDC that I will be attending and doing and playing, and I will be producing some content. So I can't give you much more detail than that, I'm afraid, my friend. But yes, and you've segued me nicely, so I appreciate it, because at GDC, Xbox are out there front and center, really pushing Play Anywhere. Now, they've got a banner that says develop for Xbox Anywhere, reach players everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And I want people that watch this show, right, and disassociate yourselves from the console wars bullshit for a minute and go high level.
No.
And think about the industry and the health of gaming as a whole. It's really bad right now, right? It's really bad for games media, as we discussed at the beginning of the
For
show.
Xbox, maybe.
It's really bad for PlayStation 2. All right. I know people don't want to admit it, but it is. It's the industry is at this like point in time where decisions are going to be made about what the future looks like. And GDC is going to be the point where all these conversations are kind of happening. So there's loads of talks and conferences and discussions that are going to be ongoing. But Xbox's viewpoint here is the world's changed in terms of where people consume content. We're trying to plan for that.
Mm-hmm.
Come and develop for this program, because you can be a part of that push to get your games in front of as many players as possible. And that is the point. So yeah, this was posted over at the Microsoft Developer Game Dev blog. They've got a bunch of, frankly, interesting sounding talks and absolutely horrific talks. The absolutely horrific talks that I'm probably going to avoid are the things that are called the future of gaming supported by AI, yeesh, or AI innovation for game experiences, or AI, anything with AI in, basically, I'm probably going to walk away from. But there are some really, really interesting stuff about mobile, about anti-toxicity strategies, about live service games, opening 1 billion doors with Xbox, which is being presented by Chris Charla and Leo Olib on Wednesday. Sounds interesting. There's tons of stuff there. There's going to be games. There's going to be developers. There's going to be showcases. I've never been, so this is going to be a nice new experience for me. There's a really good roundtable that I do plan on going to, which is Ask Game Lawyers Anything Roundtable Day, which is really fascinating to me. And they've also got one, Xbox Game Studios panel, scaling cross-platform development across Xbox and PC. So there's tons of like interesting stuffs. And there's a developer roundtable for Play Anywhere. So I'm going to be attending a few of these things and getting my nerd on. And I'll bring back as much coverage as I can. I will do as much of it as I can from GDC. I'm going to take my laptop. I'll have my portable SSD. So if I capture any video game footage and I can do a quick video, I'll pack my microphone so I can at least get some good audio. And I'll just hope that my laptop can render the damn thing. If not, I'll send Jesse the footage with my narrated audio and he can edit it for me because he's a good boy.
I could. I could.
You could, whether you will. But yes, Torn, like this is why you guys have empowered us to be able to go and get these things for you and peel back this curtain. And it's why we want to do what we want to do. So, support us on Patreon and all of that stuff. I see, like Jesse James, I would force Rockstar to include cloud version of GTA if you buy it on Xbox. I don't think that's not the type of thing they really have to force. Because that is literally just a way for it to be bought more. Like, it's very different than trying to get a Game Pass deal. I think the big thing with cloud and why they don't push it to everything is disk space. Like, they have to, and you look at GeForce Now, it's got 2,300 games available in total.
And they have to have all of those games essentially on every server. And Cloud's got 400 or 500, and they have to have all those games everywhere. And they don't even right now. A lot of times, if you have a long wait on Cloud, Jez said it sometimes is just actually copying the game over from another server for you. So that SSD space, because it has to be a decent speed SSD for anything new, is not cheap when you're doing it 1,000 times over.
And it's so much more complicated than streaming a 2.5-hour movie. It just is. But yes. Next up in news, Atomfall, which is a new title from Rebellion here in the UK, is coming to Game Pass in March. They released a gameplay deep dive, which looks at some of the systems that are going to be part of the quarantine zone of Atomfall's game world. It's coming on March 27th. It's available to pre-order now, but it is coming day one to Game Pass on Xbox Series X, Xbox One, Windows PC, and obviously on Steam and Epic. And it's also releasing on PlayStation 4 and 5.
It's everywhere.
So it's everywhere, but if you're on Game Pass, you can play it for free as part of your subscription. Yeah, I mean, you're looking forward to Atomfall, right? This is one you're planning on doing the review for, I think.
Yep. Yeah. I got to play it at Gamescom for last year. I really like Rebellion's work. I just did their other team's Sniper Elite Resistance. I believe this is like the main team and what they've been working on for a while. Very interesting. It's kind of closer to Fallout, but not, because it doesn't have like traditional quest systems the way they talked about it. It's you get an idea and you've got to go and like find things in an area, and it's quite a bit about how do you talk to people to get them to trust you, who do you side with to go in different directions, to find different ways to get into stuff. No, we're not playing Atomfall right now. It doesn't come out until the 27th, so it's pretty far off. I would love to have a full month with it, but I normally expect at the most 2 weeks with most things. Though in 25 minutes, I can tell you something else. If we last that long, otherwise, sorry.
We'll last that long, baby.
Yeah, but Atomfall looks really good. This is an over 12-minute long deep dive into all the basic systems. Looks really nice. It is not like their other games where it's all about shooting, like with the Sniper Elite games people think of a lot with Rebellion, even though they made quite a bit, or even Zombie Army Trilogy in 4. Lots of feels like survival or crafting elements, but it's very streamlined, so you don't have to immediately cringe and go, oh no. Like, it is just find some stuff and make a thing, not go punch a tree a bunch, Minecraft type stuff. I'm very curious how it's going to look and run on console. I've only gotten to play it before on a super powerful PC where it looked amazingly clean last year, and that's one of the things I like about their games. It doesn't have that upscaled look. Like Lost Records Bloom, when Amanda reviewed it, I was like, man, this is just so clean. And going back to Watch Dogs Legion, and there's no upscaling, and it's just the native resolution, like, man, this looks so clean. And I miss that sometimes. And this, especially after Monster Hunter Wilds, this looks really good. So I'm quite interested in what the final product ends up being.
Yeah, good for them. I think Rebellion's a great studio, and it's a new IP. Launching a new IP on Game Pass is always a good shout to get people in. And I think the unique setting and the Fallout vibes and the UK style,
a lot of choice
is good.
Like, so this one, they're showing the lady, her husband is infected by the thing that makes everyone those blue monsters, and you can either try and help her, or you can try and sell her out to this military dipshit who will help you because you're just trying to leave. You woke up there, you have no idea why you're there in this quarantine zone. So it's
fun times.
It looks interesting. I'm intrigued quite a bit.
Indeed. Hopefully we'll have more soon. In sad news, and probably one of the bigger headlines of this week, outside of Fable being delayed, Warner Brothers, absolute shit show over there. They've shut down Monolith Productions, Player First Games, and Warner Brothers San Diego. The news broke first via Bloomberg with Jason Schreier and I presume Dina Bass reporting. No, it was Jason Schreier. Excuse me. Sorry, Dina. All three video game studios closed, and they've halted work and cancelled on Wonder Woman, which was a title that's been in development for quite some time, instead choosing to focus on Game of Thrones, Harry Potter, and Mortal Kombat.
And they say they're focusing on Game of Thrones, but Warner Brothers Montreal has been pitching a Game of Thrones game, and they just keep saying, no, you're a support studio now. After Gotham Knights, which was them picking up someone else's thing, because so everyone yells at Zaslav, and he's terrible. I don't disagree. But there was a guy named, I believe it was David Haddad, who ran this division with more talent and powerful IP than you could ever hope to have. And he ran it right into the ground with cancellations and just awful management.
Bad management.
Like people keep pointing, oh, this industry is dead if WB can't even do it. It's like, no, WB would have died at any point with this type of management, with how bad they have been. It is just atrocious the way that place was run.
It is pretty rough. There was a statement from Warner Brothers that confirmed Jason Schreier's reporting. They said, embrace yourselves, it's a load of shit. We've had to make some very difficult decisions to structure our development studios and investments around building the best game possible for our key franchises, Harry Potter, Mortal Kombat, DC, and Game of Thrones. After careful consideration, we are closing 3 of our development studios, Monolith Productions, Player First Games, and Warner Brothers Games San Diego. This is a strategic change in direction and not a reflection of those teams or the talent that consists within them. The development of Monolith's Wonder Woman video game will not move forward. Our hope was to give players and fans the highest quality experience possible for the iconic character, and unfortunately, this is no longer possible within our strategic priorities. This is another tough decision, as we recognize Monolith's storied history of delivering epic fan experiences through amazing games. We greatly admire the passion of the 3 teams and thank every employee for their contributions. As difficult as today is, we remain focused on and excited about getting back to producing high-quality games for our passionate fans and developed by our world-class studios and getting our games business back to profitability and growth in 2025 and beyond. I don't care, Warner Brothers. This is a rough decision that didn't need to happen if you hadn't fucked it all up in the first place. Not only that, but there's been a lot of talk about Monolith's brilliant Nemesis system, which is now patented until 2036. So no one's using it. I saw Jez Corden post on Twitter that Microsoft should buy it and make it open source or whatever the case may be. Yeah, in a nice world. But
I get that, but also
consider Microsoft a charity. You know,
Monolith. The story came out that Monolith themselves was struggling really hard to find a use for it and anything else because it was such a thing tailored heavily for the the Lord of the Rings Shadow games, where it's a system based on you dying or you mind controlling. So it had limited use. Even Wonder Woman, it's pretty evil if she just uses her lasso in a mind control way type of thing. If that's not even a thing she can do normally, but so you have to lose and then dominate. And that's more the only thing I could think that would work in is a Dark Souls type game. And even there, it would be its own setup. It's a really cool system. People go on and on about the patent all the time. I don't think it really matters. I don't think it was going to be a thing in a bunch of other games ever because it just doesn't work in most of them.
Yeah. So, it sucks. I'm sorry, everybody. It's a rough time, and my heart goes out to everybody that's lost their jobs in this shit show of an industry right now. And again, I come back to the simple fact of the matter. Video games look good enough. They looked good enough back in 2013. They're too long, and all of them need to lower their scope, get their managerial properties back under control, and start focusing on delivering great experiences that aren't going to try and plan to be your only game or 300 hours long. And that's the way back to a healthy industry. We'll see. Maybe they'll catch up. Maybe the rest of the industry will catch up to my smart idea. But who knows?
Yeah, it's almost entirely always just about management. It's not about anything except for really bad management, whether it's middle or upper. That is the main complaint you always hear, and it's not graphical fidelity or all these things. They've always been making things look as pretty as they can, but if you properly manage scope, figure out what works and go with it. Yeah, Avowed, it took a while, but they figured out this is what we're really good at. This is what we're going to focus on. We're going to do it to our best of our abilities. Cool.
Great game.
Yeah. Also, most games aren't that long anymore. I think they have pulled back from that.
Hey, you're speaking to a guy that thinks if a game pushes 24 hours total gameplay, you're kind of pushing it a bit for me.
But if it's
like,
yeah, but you're weird because by far the most successful Assassin's Creed was Valhalla.
I know.
People want people don't buy that many games, and when they do, they want them to last.
I know. I understand the sentiment, but I will always advocate for smaller, smarter, sharper experiences, so that I can play one and then play the next.
Yeah, but sadly, those don't make that much money.
There's thousands of games, though. You know, like there's thousands and thousands of games all the time, and no one can play them all. So, you know,
our second to last story is all about that.
Yeah. We'll talk about that in a second. Or do you want to bump it up to now because it's kind of relevant?
Sure.
Yeah, let's bump it up to now. Segueing nicely into that, it came out via some analytics that more than 40% of all United States PlayStation 5 and Xbox playtime last month was spent on just 10 live service games.
Yep.
That's a problem.
Yeah,
that's via Matt Piscatella.
That is an unsolvable problem.
Yes, you can't put the genie back in the proverbial bottle.
Nope.
But in a thread on Blue Sky, Piscatella pointed out, and this is from Chris Scullion over at VGC, that 70% of active PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X users in the US played at least one of the top 10 live service games in January. And while some of those players may have simply tried the game and moved on to something else, these 10 live service games have been popular enough to command a combined 40% of all playtime spent across the entirety of PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series XS libraries last month. He notes that the statistics may be concerning for the developers and publishers of other games because the total US video game market spending, total players, and total hours all peaked in 2021, and the pace of games being released hasn't slowed. So we're still releasing tons and tons of games into the market, but there's not as many people playing as many different things anymore.
Yep. We need the bird flu to be a global pandemic now.
Yeah, that's all right. Well,
funnily enough, America's finally moved and said, oh, we're going to buy eggs from Mexico and South America and try and contain bird flu because all of our chickens are dying.
Jesus. It's kind of a mess right now. Mass Business, as I said, that used to be that players would jump from big game to some other games, but they were most often moving to something new that they purchased. Now, the live service games suck out a ton of available time, and it's hard to beat free if it's good. So here we are. Last year, an annual games industry report highlighted the growing influence of a group of fewer older games that have over consumers' annual playtime. According to the data, just 66 titles accounted for 80% of all playtime in 2023, and 60% was spent in games that are 6 years or older. 5 older games, Fortnite, GTA 5, League of Legends, Minecraft, and Roblox, accounted for 27% of all playtime in 2023, according to games data platform Newzoo. Yeah, it's a big problem.
Yep. And one that we've been talking about for a while, and it feels like the industry at large is finally listening to Matt, because I've been like, hey, Matt Piscatella keeps telling you guys how this all works for the last 3-4 years, and everyone seems to keep going console wars and exclusivity, and it's like, no, the industry is completely run, as time and time again it gets shown, by a very small number of very large games, and that is the biggest issue for it. Like the industry is making more money than ever, but it's extremely concentrated, like a certain country I might live in. Just a few handful of people have everything, and it does not trickle down. For every Pocket Pair or NeoWiz, where like they'll just go and give a bunch of money away because they want to see cool shit, you've got companies who are publicly traded and shared, and they can't do that. They're not allowed to do that. That is against their public and lawful policy. That's one law we'll still follow. You must make shareholders more money, so you can't just be like, we're doing this to be nice, unless it doesn't cost you money.
True. And then outside of that, a couple of other things to just note before we wrap things up here today.
Told you we wouldn't make it to 11.
Protocol Studio suffers layoffs but remains operational, says Crafton. This is from Tom Ivan over at VGC. Striking Distance Studios, which is the developer behind Callisto Protocol, has indeed been hit with a round of layoffs. Its parent company, Crafton, said it has reduced the size of the California-based studio, but it remains up and running.
Oh, my old editing is bad looking at this video. Don't like it.
It confirmed the layoffs in a statement issued to PC Gamer after multiple affected employees broke the news on LinkedIn. The statement was Striking Distance Studios has reduced the size of its team to remain agile. I hate, like, it's so transparent reading this stuff. The people that write it should be punished, which creates a sustainable environment for the studio at its current stage of development. The studio remains operational. These changes will not impact any planned ongoing support. No further changes are planned at this time. Dead Space creator Glenn Schofield founded Striking Distance in 2019 with the goal of creating an original narrative experience in the PUBG universe, although the project evolved over time into a new sci-fi survival horror game that was no longer tied to the franchise.
That was just Dead Space.
That was Callisto Protocol, except it was just Dead Space.
It was Dead Space with loving animations that absolutely killed the gameplay flow.
Yeah. It was released in December of 2022, a month before EA released their remake of Dead Space, which
destroyed it
better.
Well, did much better critically. Neither of them did well commercially.
Yes. There you go. And next up, we have PlayStation Plus, monthly games for March.
One of their best months ever.
Attention here.
Yep.
Dragon Age the Veilguard, even though it only just came out in October, is one of the games in the PlayStation Plus monthly games for March.
Which is amazing, but also sad because it means the game is obviously not selling at all anymore.
Yeah, so they're clearly collecting some cash. You can also grab Sonic Colors Ultimate, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Cowabunga Collection, alongside those for your monthly games in March.
For anyone who has not played Dragon Age the Veilguard, I cannot recommend it enough. It's still my favorite game of last year. And I know a lot of people were attacking me. Oh, you gave that a 10, but only 7.5 to Monster Hunter. It's like, yep, it's a better game overall. Monster Hunter could be just as good. And probably will be in a few months once they start adding in all the, actual grind again, like they did with Worlds and Rise after launch, like I said in the review.
But you can only play what you review.
Well, and people don't read or listen to the reviews, so they don't actually go through the fact that I said Monster Hunter Wilds is an amazing game in every way except for being just way too streamlined and easy as a base title, which is what keeps happening. And everyone will always look back at things and go, oh, they say this every time. And it's like, yeah, and every time Capcom fixes it after launch. But Dragon Age at launch is the game, and it is great. And if you have this service, you should play it. I could not recommend it more. It's very good.
You're a big fan.
Yep.
And then last story of the day, really, unless anything's broken in the next 10 minutes, Sony has made the decision to drop the PlayStation VR price to just $399. This comes via Tom Warren at The Verge. Sony's VR2 price cut comes nearly a year after reports that it was trying to shift unsold inventory. Clearly that hasn't worked, so they've cut the price. It's now discounted by $150 down to $400, down from $549 back when it launched in February of 2023. You'll also see a price cut in Europe to €449 and the UK down to £400, and Japan 66,980 yen.
It is very nice hardware. You can use it on PC. It's a bit of a pain to get all the functions working because by default with their little box, like, you don't get all the features that make it so nice, but people have already hacked them back in because PC people know what they like.
Yes, absolutely. Sony is positioning the price cut as a fantastic time to dive into the exciting world of PlayStation VR 2, but it comes nearly a year after the company reportedly paused PlayStation VR 2 production to clear the excess inventory. A Bloomberg report in March suggested Sony was trying to shift unsold inventory of the VR 2 headset, and this fresh price cut suggests that the PS5 accessory still isn't selling as well as Sony had hoped. At $550, it was more expensive than the PlayStation 5 itself, and a lack of content has certainly held it back, says Tom Warren. The $399 pricing could certainly help shift units, particularly as you can also use the VR2 headset on a PC now, thanks to Sony's $60 adapter. Sony is also reportedly working on Apple Vision Pro support for its PSVR 2 controllers, which we might hear about at some point.
Yeah, the Vision Pro just only being hands meant you couldn't really play anything on it, which is what people would want to actually do with that for the most part.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, look, I love VR. I think VR is awesome for certain experiences. I still think that of anything innovative that a major manufacturer or platform holder could do is to make a controller that's similar to the two Oculus ones for just normal gaming. Because like I like holding this like this. This is fine. But it's no different to holding two in my hands. But if I could do that and I could do a bunch of cool shit with it, I'd love to see it. Do you know what I mean? Like it's more choice, more options. But yeah. Anyone interested in a PSVR 2?
Maybe some more now. But everyone's gonna always like, they need to just get Half-Life Alyx. I'm like, why would Valve's not gonna give that up? That is their entire that's their thing they spent forever on. I don't see it going anywhere else. I'd be happy if it did. It's one of the best games ever made. I just don't expect it.
Yeah. Yarp. I think that's pretty much it. I don't think there's much more news. I'm just going to do a quick
there was a bunch of Pokemon stuff, and neither of us care about Pokemon. If you care about Pokemon, they've announced a bunch of stuff. None of it looks impressive graphically.
There's Pokemon Champions has been announced for Switch and mobile, which is a new battle-focused game being developed by Pokemon Works. And Palworld, this is a good one. Palworld Studio is giving all of their developers the day off to play Monster Hunter Wilds.
And if they play together, they'll probably beat the entire campaign in that day. The main the low rank campaign. But also, it's friggin' 5 minutes away. So I'm just going to say, if you're wondering what I'm working on, it's probably what you think coming from Ubisoft. I'll say it properly in 5 minutes.
Yeah, probably on Twitter.
Yeah, because I've already got the thing, and the thing can already say you can say it, but the thing begins in 5 minutes to do. So it's not hard to guess.
Yeah.
I'll just wait because I'm nice.
Yeah.
But that's a show.
Abdul114 who says, did you guys cover Xbox at GDC next month? I hope Xbox operating system or handheld or next gen Xbox or Steam on Xbox gets unveiled there. I will be going to GDC and I think Xbox are going to be there. So I will be covering things as I can find them. But no confirmation on what or who or what or why or anything. I certainly don't think you can expect any kind of hardware reveals or anything of that nature. Would there maybe be a sneak peek at what the operating system might be?
Nope.
To a degree?
Never. I don't know. I'm kidding. Also, yes. So Jojo, if Oreo goes within like 15 feet of Oreo flips her shit. So he wasn't actually doing anything except for getting close to her and she lost her mind. Yeah.
Yeah. Torn Raptor says Black Flag remake. It's one Assassin's Creed I absolutely love. Black Flag. Yeah. And
he was actually tackling her. Yeah. Okay. He does tackle her sometimes when she annoys him. He doesn't bite her, scratch her. He just tackles her because he's a lot bigger than her.
Oh.
I know she's an asshole.
That's it, folks.
Yeah.
That's it. It's 100 episodes of headlines. Thank God we still get to do this.
For now.
Fun times. For now. We will be back on Saturday for the official Xbox Era podcast, episode 252. This week, we are taking a look with a guest, the developer of Ruffy and the Riverside, which is a new game coming out on PlayStation, PC, and Xbox.
You like my title for the week?
Demo. Yeah, there's a demo available on Steam. For those that want to check it out, I have played it a little bit, and it's a pretty neat 3D platformer with a very cool art style, where everything's kind of like 2D cut out bits of like paper.
It's a nice looking style.
Ruffy can scan different objects and then paste them over other objects to transform stuff. So there's a lot of puzzles and 3D stuff, and it's got a really neat soundtrack. I really like the music to it. We'll be chatting to the developer on Saturday alongside our normal show. So he'll be joining us for a little while. For how long, who knows? Let's see if he wants to dive out before we start getting into all the news. But you can expect to see me, Nick, and Jesse on that. As I mentioned earlier this week and announced on Twitter, EA were kind enough to let me post a little 30-second snippet of some of my footage of Split Fiction, the upcoming game from Hazelight Studios. My review will be dropping on Monday, the 4th of March. You can look forward to watching it premiere live on XboxEra's YouTube channel, as well as our website. I will probably have that premiere up by the end of today, if not tomorrow. So you can make sure you bookmark it and tune in live to watch my verdict on Hazelight's latest
It's
game.
fun to get to do premieres. We got one with Avowed. We'll have one with that, and we're going to have one with mine because I get to
like
say mine
doing
too.
premieres. And I rolled credits on it last night, so I've been working on my review of said game today. So you can look forward to reading and or watching that on Monday. Outside of that, we'll be back on Tuesday for episode 101 of Headlines with Boots. Hello, Boots. She's such a stupid cat. No, I just touched her. That was it.
I know, but she's yelling at you to not pick her up, only pet her.
What's that?
Oh.
Yeah, I know. Okay. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, have a wonderful rest of your week.
I will.
What's left of it.
I'm going to have a great end of my
we'll
week.
see you
I'm so excited. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Ciao.
Boop, boop. Okay, there we go. I had to add my mic back to this scene. All right, we got what? How many more seconds until 11 o'clock? And then I'll just yell it, and then I'll play some music if you want to stick around. Oh, wait, I'll play music until it hits 11. Oh, hey, it's 11 o'clock. So yes, I'll be reviewing Assassin's Creed Shadows. Reviewing it at first on GeForce Now to get super early access to it. And then later on, I will have it for Xbox and do my full review there. So Assassin's Creed Shadow, that review is coming on the 18th. As has already been leaked 7,000 times what we get to say. So yeah, keep an eye out for it on the site. And ciao for now.
You know the rules, so do I. Up for commitment's what I'm thinking of. You wouldn't get this from any other guy. I just wanna tell you how I'm feeling. Gotta make you understand. Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down. Never gonna run around and desert you. Never gonna make you cry. Never gonna say goodbye. Never gonna tell a lie and hurt you. We've known each other for so long. Your heart's been aching, but you're too shy to say it. Inside we both know what's been going on. We know the game and we're gonna play it. And if you ask me how I'm feeling, don't tell me you're too blind to see. Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down. Never gonna run around and desert you. Never gonna make you cry. Never gonna say goodbye. Never gonna tell a lie and hurt you. Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down. Never gonna run around and desert you. Never gonna make you cry. Never gonna say goodbye. Never gonna tell a lie and hurt you. Give you up. Give you up. Never gonna give, never gonna give. Give you up. Never gonna give, never gonna give. Give you up. We've known each other for so long. Your heart's been aching, but you're too shy to say it. Inside we both know what's been going on. We know the game and we're gonna play it. I just wanna tell you how I'm feeling. Gotta make you understand. Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down. Never gonna run around and desert you. Never gonna make you cry. Never gonna say goodbye. Never gonna tell a lie and hurt you. Never let you down. Never gonna run around and desert you. Never gonna make you cry. Never gonna say goodbye. Never gonna tell a lie and hurt you. Come out here by midnight. Come out here by midnight. Make me feel so good. Every night about midnight, she comes to my house, make me feel alright. Walking down the street, she knock on the door.